Hey guys, so Super Showdown just dropped in Street Fighter Duel, and this is great because this is a better way of getting these points that we can actually spend in the honor shop. That was so we can get Rose and get copies of Rose, right? I was like, this is taking forever to get this, so this is going to be a much faster way of doing that, which is great. So Super Showdown is a best of 3 with 3 different teams. Lots of mobile games do this. Valkyrie Connect is one off the top of my head. I know there's many others, but that was just the first one. But it's really fun game mode because you get to use more of the characters that you have, and you have to get kind of creative with it. But the problem is, you have to get kind of creative with it. You may have to come up with teams more than like your main kind of story-driven team. So I did a bunch of research on other really strong teams and some of my thoughts. But I thought it would be good to make a video to kind of show you other teams that are strong that you could do some suggestions, or at least give you some ideas if you don't really have any idea of what you want to do or just want some suggestions. So this goes without saying, if you have Bison, if you have Rose, Gen, or Juri, or like the fashion-y Sakura, those are really strong characters. You should put them in there. That goes without saying, but I just thought I should say it just in case. But this is going to be more focused on not your main team, because you're already going to have your main team. I may bring up some tips here and there. This is somewhat of an example of a main team. You can swap a lot of these things out. You can put like Beast Zangief in there for Makoto, or of course Bison. You can put Blanca there. You could put E Honda if you wanted. There's a lot of different options, but this is like an example of a main team. Most people are gonna have like 4 Lightning, 2 Wind split because Chun-Li's pretty good. Cammy is also a great character to have in here. I don't have Cammy actually, so there's I can't get her for the life of me. Adon too, but I don't care as much about him. But I would really like Cammy. But this is an example of a pretty decent main team. Your team might look like this, but what are some other teams that you can make? So here is an example of a decent fire team. You could also put like the Capri here instead of Fei Long. That would be pretty good. I've been experimenting with some of these characters, so some of the characters I would normally have leveled up are not, because I'm trying other things like Fei Long. But this would be a pretty decent team. Fei Long's a good pick too. He can dish out some damage. He's got a decent 1 skill for characters like this. Cody also as well. The main 2 characters, in my opinion, for a fire team are going to be Sea Viper and Dalsum. And here's an example, a pretty decent like flow of skill here. I think that's pretty decent, although the beginning AoE for Dalsum can be kind of slow, but it hits like a truck, and then Beast Zangief will draw them in at the end, and then Sea Viper will do like a nice little chunk of AoE. It's a pretty good team. You could put Hugo in there as your main tank. Hugo is okay, but you can do that. Cody is also a decent substitute for Beast Zangief. You could, any tank you could put there. It doesn't absolutely have to be fire, but this would be my suggestion for a fire team. I might switch out DeCapri for, Fei Long for DeCapri, things like that. But this is like a pretty decent team. You could also do a win team, so you can like kind of do something like this here. Maybe Guile. You could have. This would be a great time to have Cammy. Cammy's a really good win character, one of the best, probably top 2 or so. You can do a 3 wind, 2 like thunder split. Maybe something like that. Of course, always make sure that you're having the 4-2 split. Just a reminder. Here's like another example of a team. Oh, Blanca would be great. You can do something, like this. Lots of AoE in there. You can draw them in. You can do. This would be a pretty good team as well. Substitute for Beast Zangief, because I know I used him in a couple examples. Abel is fine. He's got good shield. He can actually be kind of annoying where he's granting everybody shields. That's a pretty decent substitute for him. Also, regular Zangief is okay. Not like my favorite. Also, E Honda is great. Like I mentioned briefly before, E Honda is a pretty decent tank. He's got a good stun. So I would suggest him as well. But yeah, I'll put some examples up on the screen. Maybe I'll take some screenshots because there's going to be tons of variations, right? And then I'll just play with the skills. Also, one thing to keep in mind is that you can see as you're building your team against whoever you're fighting, what team you're in, what slot they have and who they have in that slot. So let me see if I can kind of show you an example. One thing to keep in mind too, you can keep hitting refresh to kind of find somebody you think you stand a chance against. Just for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna kind of pick whoever. Just here, we'll just do this. I'll get smoked, but I wanted to at least show you what I'm talking about as far as the enemy slots. So you can see at the top right here what they have. So they have a pretty strong team there. That's in. You can also use this to see what other people are doing to give you ideas. But you can adjust your team. So his back line is obviously not as strong as, you know, his front. So what you could do is kind of adjust your team accordingly. Put maybe your strongest team on the second slot. Maybe they have a fighting chance, but and then, you know, put like a pretty decent team to fight their very last team. If their first team, because most people are going to put their strongest team first, if you cannot fight their strongest team. So that is a suggestion. I don't know if that's the best I could come up with, but also it's good to know you can get some tips on how other people are building their teams. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. I think it's a pretty standard mode, but I think it's very welcome. I like this type of mode. I need to power up my characters more, and because I was messing with them, it's fun to figure out kind of the teams. I think that's most of the fun of Street Fighter Duel. So I think this type of PvP mode is very welcome, and obviously it's great to have more ways to get more of these freaking honor shop tokens. So I'm gonna have more team suggestions, hopefully in like screenshots or something, kind of playing through right here. I think any of these teams would be decent. Of course, again, if you have Bison, Rose, Gen, and like Fashion Sakura, Jury, that goes without saying. Okay, this is if you don't have them or just other teams other than that. But yeah, obviously those are going to be really beefy. But yeah, you may have to play around some of those really strong teams. So characters that hit backline, you know, Guy could be a good one. I think B. Zangief pulling them forward would be a pretty decent solution for a lot of those problems. It's nice that it's not live PvP, so if you are playing against somebody who's way more powerful than you, you can at least kind of outplay the AI. So that's a thing. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Hopefully this was of some benefit, and put some suggestions of what teams you're using or what you think are really strong in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the game mode. But I think it will help a lot of people if you put some of your suggestions, because I know a lot of people will watch the videos and then go to the comments and see what other people are doing. I know I do. So that's very helpful for everybody, including me. Maybe there's something I didn't think of. So if there's a great team I didn't put up or show you, or let me know. Obviously, I can't put up every team because there's so many different combinations, but please let me know. Please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. I just hit 6,000. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. I'm loving this game, and I think the community's a bunch of great people. It's a lot of fun. Good luck in your summons in the game. God bless you, and you have a blessed day, y'all.